We're gonna hit a trail and do some hiking. It's a few dogs. It's a good drainage that we ran a lot of cats into. So we'll see what happens. It's about a 4-mile trail. We're gonna just see what we can do, what the dogs can do. It's been a slow last couple days. At some point it's gonna come around.
So this hunt was my first mountain lion hunt. I'd never really been around hunting mountain lions or had much to do with it, but when I got linked in with Trey McDaniel, I thought it'd be a really cool idea to shoot a lion hunt with him. He was already out there, been out there for almost a month by the time I got out to him. He took the whole winter off just to run cats, so I knew that he was serious and we would have a really good chance of making a really cool film with him. The first day that we set out, we got up super early and we started running roads, and I was not aware. I underestimated the amount of work we were going to be doing looking for a mountain lion, a good mountain lion. And we actually got stuck that very first morning. Trey and I, took us quite a while to dig him out. So that was a little bit of a setback the first day. We got out about early afternoon, found a track that they wanted to chase. So we let the dogs out, got them on it, and they took off right away. And they didn't go very far. They said they were treed on the GPS, Trey did, so we took off after him. It wasn't that far, but man, going through the deadfall and the snow, it was just really tough going. And when we got there, the dogs had false treed. There wasn't a lion in the tree, and there was lion tracks everywhere, so they weren't exactly sure what had happened. The dogs got mixed up. So the second day, we ran some roads in the morning, early in the day. And then we went back to camp and geared up. Trey said we were going to go for a hike, and I'll tell you what, Trey said we were going on a nice 4-mile walk. That's what he told me. But nightfall found us at the top of a mountain, but we got to the top of that mountain right at the time that it was sunset. So we got out on a rock outcropping, and the view that we had up there for the few minutes we were up there was worth that hike twice over again. So, you know, even though that day was unsuccessful hunt-wise, just being out in the country that we had the opportunity to be out in was a special thing in and of itself. The third day, we woke up and ran a new set of roads we hadn't been on. Trey and I found a track that was a good track, a fresh track, but was a little small. He didn't want to chase, so we didn't chase that track. We got back down off that mountain probably around lunchtime. Trey decided to change areas, wanted to change everything up. He said it'd been dead for about a week before I got there as well. And not have a lot of luck, so he wanted to move areas. This was the fourth day actually. We're tired, we're hungry. I was tired and hungry anyways. And it was about 4 o'clock in the afternoon we cut a track. Trey decided that we wanted to chase it, so sounds good, we'll chase it. We cut the dogs out, they took off on it. Well, the cat dove off of the edge of a drainage and then went up the other side and was going back down the other side. And we ended up in some pretty nasty country. And I'll tell you what, Trey and Alex Marcy, those guys, they are so fast out in those mountains that it was hard for me to keep up with them. I couldn't keep up with them, but luckily we had Caitlin and Jake coming back with me. So we and Blake. We sat on the edge of the hill, kind of watched them go. Dark found us pretty far below the snow machines and quite a ways away too. So at that time I was pretty well spent. Everybody in the group was spent and wanted to go home. We climbed out of there in the deep snow, got back to the snow machines, and we went to Big Timber and ate. And he said, well, let's go back up to where we were, spend the night. He said, we'll sleep in the morning. We won't even get up early. We'll sleep in. We'll take one run up this road in the truck, and if we don't see anything, we'll be back down to the camp by about 11, and we'll go home. So we wake up the next morning, drive up this road, meet Trey and Caitlin, and decided to just see if we were going to find any tracks right on the side of the road. So we're running up there. I wasn't even paying that close of attention, and all of a sudden Trey slams on his brakes and backs up a few feet, and I looked right out my window. There's a really nice cat track right in the snow there, and he looks at me and he goes, that's a nice track, man. We need to chase it. We both of us glanced at the clock at the same time. It was like 10:07 or something, and he looked at me and he said, what do you think? And I said, all right, let's do it, let's go. The dogs crossed a river. We found out where they crossed, got across it ourselves, and pretty soon we're on the bottom of the drainage, and up the side of it we hear the dog's Treein, or his GPS beeped, and we can hear him real faintly. So we decided to crawl up. We started crawling up the side of the drainage. It was really steep, really snowy, it was cold, and I could start to hear the dogs. I could hear where they were. All of a sudden the dogs kind of shut up, and I could hear them starting to run up the drainage more. So we knew the cat jumped the tree and started running up farther. And we got up to the cat a second time, and I'll tell you what, I've never seen a cat in a mountain lion, or a mountain lion in a tree up to that point. It was something that it was really, really hard to describe. I've only seen one mountain lion in the mountains ever before in my life, and I bumped into one on a horse and it ran away real fast. But seeing one up in that tree, that was something to think about. So it bailed out of the tree and started running down the drainage. So unfortunately we didn't get that on film, and but I will say this, watching that cat run down the hill through the trees, definitely one of the coolest things I've ever seen in my life, watching that mountain lion run through the trees. I'll never forget that picture in my mind. So we actually got gathered up, and Trey said, no, they'll tree again real quick, don't worry about it. So we got our stuff gathered up, got to where the cat treed again in a way nastier spot, a really nasty spot. But we finally got down to it, crawled up the hill to about level with where the cat was sitting in the tree. Just kind of admired him for a few minutes, took some pictures, and really kind of took in how he looked and how pretty he was, and how, I mean, just a whole other feeling that I've never had before hunting a big game animal. Well, it came time to punch him out of the tree, and we got the dogs tied up, and I got ready to go. And I shot the first time, and later on Trey told me that first shot would have been good, but I've never, hunted mountain lions before. So I shot once, and he fell out of the tree, fell quite along legs, hit the ground, and started to run. So in my mind, I didn't want a mountain lion going anywhere, so I just led him a little bit right in front of his face, and I shot him right in the side of the head. Took a few minutes to kind of sit there and just take it all in. That was a crazy experience. The few days we were up there were so long and so cold, and it now had kind of come to fruition. I walked down there, and when I got up to that mountain lion, it was a whole other feeling of humble that I've never quite felt before. I don't know if it's different because it's a predator, but that cat was a mature tom who had been an apex predator for a long time in his area. So to come in there and kind of unseat him on that kind of a throne, I guess, was humbling experience to walk up to him and put hands on him. You thanked God for every second of that hunt, and if it hadn't been as hard as it was, I don't know that it would have meant the same to me. And it was a great experience that I will never forget, and I cannot thank Trey enough and Caitlin enough for running the camera, and everybody that from Treein Hard that made that hunt possible and let us make such a great film out of it. Thank you everybody for watching. Hope you enjoy this film, and always hunt the horizon. Thank you for supporting Blue Creek Outdoors.